So let's cover speaking to sellers. Now, I am moving quickly through this, so I want to make sure I get the whole presentation in. And afterwards, we'll go over some Q&As, and we'll go over like specific questions that you guys may have on, what ifs scenarios, right? Or objections that maybe you come across. So scripts. As an agent, this script has worked very well for us too. Hi, this is John with Stepstone Realty, and I have a buyer that's interested in your house on, Elm Street. Are you accepting offers right now? Why did we start using this script? One of the things that I've seen in real estate when I started and everybody was still pissed because of the 2008 financial crisis. So corporations, big banks, everybody, they were evil, right? They were the people that nobody wanted to work with. So we were killing it with postcards that said, my wife and I want to buy your house. My family and I want to buy your house. Joe Schmo buys houses, right? Like, it was very personal. People wanted to deal with somebody. They didn't want to deal with a company. But what happened is through the years, that got saturated, right? We saw them everywhere. Billy buys houses and all this crap. And you see that stuff everywhere. They got to a point where it's like now people were getting screwed over. They were hearing it too much. So like, no, I want you to have some credibility. So being a licensed agent gives you that credibility. You understand? And this is something you want to speak to your broker. I know if Angie was on this call, she'll probably start chiming in about now. But, it's like you don't want to misrepresent yourself. So it's like, do you have an interested buyer? Yeah, you do. The interested buyer happens to be you. But you're representing the buyer, not the seller. So I don't believe there's any conflict in that issue. But consult your broker just to make sure and be like, oh, John told me to do it. You can do it. I don't really care. But it's one of those things that it just works out. It's because you are representing the buyer. You just happen to be the buyer. Or you can say your spouse or whatever, right? But you're not representing the seller. That's when it gets murky, is when you're going in as an agent to represent the seller, but then you turn into an investor. So that's when it can get very messy and you can get into trouble. So don't do it that way. But this script has worked out very well for us because it gives you that credibility of being a licensed agent. So even though I've met very, very, very stupid licensed agents, it still gives you some level of trust. They feel like they can trust you just because you're licensed. Use it to your advantage. Here's another script that works well. It's do the company approach. Hello, my name is John with Prime Homes, and we wanted to see if your property qualifies for a cash offer. Do you have time right now to talk? Why qualifies? People want to qualify for shit. I've learned that through the years that everybody wants to qualify for stuff. Everybody gets excited when they're qualified for something. Oh, I qualified. So I'm not saying, hey, do you want a cash offer? I'm saying we want to see if your property qualifies. I even had sellers say, yeah, I want to know if my property qualifies. They weren't interested in selling, but they want to see if the property qualifies. Cool. It works out. It's the word, and that's why I emphasize it. I even emphasize it when I say, I want to see if your property qualifies for a cash offer, right? We're trying to qualify the property. And that helps you later on in the conversation when it might get a little bit more hostile and the seller's like, well, what's your offer? What's your offer? Well, look, sir, I'm trying to qualify your house first. You understand that, I need to qualify first before I give you an offer. I need to ask you this question in order to qualify your house. So you keep using that, right? And then, do you have time right now to talk? I don't say, are you interested? I'm asking if you have time right now to talk. I don't want to know if you're interested. I'm assuming you are interested. I just want to know, do you have time right now? And I honestly don't really care if you do or don't, right? Not being arrogant or being a dick about it. It's just one of those things, like I said, like if you give them an out, they'll take it, right? But a lot of times when they're, man, I only have a few minutes. That's all I need. And the scripts that we use, they're about like 20, 25 minutes long. But why is it all I need? Because a lot of times they have a lot more than just 2 minutes available, right? So I'm not trying to get caught up on the, 2 minutes, I can only ask these questions, because that's when you tend to screw it up, is you only have 2 minutes and you start getting into the property, right? And that's the last thing we ever talk about is the property. Because if I can't figure out what your motivation is, nothing else matters. And we'll cover more of that in a little bit. So, and this is just you. Hi, my name is John. I wanted to know if you have some time right now to talk about selling your house at, whatever the address is. Simple. It's all you want to know. The first two scripts have worked out very good. The middle one being pretty much the winner for us right now. It's working out very, very well for us. Will it keep working? Not if you guys start making calls and using it, but if as long as people don't realize about it too soon, I think we're going to be good. We've been using it for quite a few months and it's been working pretty well. So it's a good script for us.